in this paper, you're going to see a very good example of operational definitions. Operational definitions are the area that most students tend to fail in the MDiv program when they are working on their project. So I want to make sure that you have a good grasp. There are several pieces of material that you can read in the course. There's another video on operational definitions. It's short, but this one is specific to spiritual leadership. And so that's why I want to use it as an example. This paper is done by now Dr. Basie, and he worked on a research project that was specifically given to operational definitions in spiritual leadership. So I want to use this to show you what he did. It is very easy to talk about spiritual leadership in broad terms, like do they have good interpersonal skills? Do they have good organizational skills? And just talk about that in general terms. But what Beasy did was identify actual measurable components that would identify whether someone has specific characteristics or behaviors or abilities. So in this particular area, you can see that he is looking at the characteristics of spiritual leaders. And so in the category of general leadership characteristics, he says good spiritual leaders should have good interpersonal characteristics. Well, how do you know if they have good interpersonal characteristics? Well, according to the people he surveyed, and you can see the different answers that he received in column 4, leaders with good interpersonal characteristics are good communicators, they are listeners, they are fair in their judgment, they are friendly, they're willing to compromise, they're forgiving, trustworthy, have a good abilities to teach, focus on solutions rather than blame, and delegators. So every one of these characteristics are something that you could measure. You could ask a pastor if he is a good communicator. Is he a good listener? Is he fair? Is he friendly? You can actually ask them that, and you can say you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. And once you get that rating, you can look at a pastor and say, well, they said that they are 4 on good listener, they're a 5 on good communicator, they're a 5 on fair, they're a 3 on friendly, they're a 2 on willing to compromise. You can add all that up, and then you actually have a score, and you can say on a scale of 10 to 50, in this case, what did this person score on this area? And if they scored 49, then obviously they have great interpersonal characteristics. If they scored 20 out of 50, then perhaps not so much. But this is why you need to have something. You can't just ask a pastor, do you have good interpersonal skills? They're going to say yes. This gives you specific ways to measure whether they have that. You can also ask a congregation, hey, does your pastor have good, instead of asking, does he have good interpersonal skills? You can say, does your pastor listen well? Is he a good communicator? Is he fair? Is he friendly? And then you can rate them that way. You have specific descriptions of specific traits that are linked to the idea of interpersonal characteristics. Then you can use that to create a survey and to create a scale. In this case, after the researcher identified the specific characteristics that he wanted to measure, he put them together in a pre-test, post-test template. So this would be much like you could do, where you've identified what do the behaviors or things look like that I want to measure. Then you can put them together on a survey and ask, again, parents, children, congregants, pastors, whoever you're doing research on, questions about them. So in this case, he's looking at spiritual leadership, and he's surveying spiritual leaders, elders, pastors, deacons, and such. So he says, as a leader, I get job satisfaction from the success of others, or I believe in the ability of others. I am fair. I am inclusive. I am authentic. I am reflective. These are all the same characteristics that he identified in his descriptors in the section that we just looked at. He simply took them and he moved them to the survey. Now, with that in mind, he has 69 different characteristics that he's measuring. So though he only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 general categories, he has 69 questions that he is going to ask people to rate themselves on. So you can see here, he does 1 to 4. So if you look at this, there's 18 questions on this category. So there's 72 possible points for interpersonal leadership characteristics. Everyone can be rated on a scale of 18 to 72. And that's what you use when you're trying to identify, is someone a good leader? Then, or do they have good interpersonal leadership characteristics? Same with intrapersonal characteristics. You can add them up and you can start getting an aggregated number for each of these characteristics. Again, you may not necessarily work with each of these descriptors individually, but you are going to add them up so that you can have a general response to a general category, such as leadership characteristics. On this page, you can see where he has done exactly that. He has combined these characteristics and behaviors and work environment into big categories, but they're all derived from or combinations of the different characteristics that he was looking at: interpersonal leadership, intrapersonal leadership, religious leadership. He's looked at all of these things, and now he's combined them into broader categories that he can now comment on in the research that he's doing. So that's what you need to do. You need to identify how you're going to measure something. And that's what operational definitions are. And students really struggle with it. But you can do this by thinking very specifically. This is a lot of characteristics. It's a lot of self-reporting. Or again, you can ask congregations to evaluate people, or parents to evaluate things. You can also do this for observational research. For instance, if you want to measure boredom during a sermon, you can say, how many people were bored during a preacher's sermon? Well, you don't know unless you have operationally defined that. So perhaps you say operational definition for boredom during a sermon is people who are stretching, people who are yawning, people who fall asleep, people who are playing on their phones, people that are fidgeting, people that get up and leave. That's probably a bad one, but you can operationalize that, and then you can say, okay, I'm going to sit in a auditorium during a sermon, and I'm going to count the number of people I see stretching, flipping through their phones, yawning. And then you've got a real answer. You can say, okay, during the course of this sermon, out of 100 people that were present, 40 of them were bored. And this is how I know, because 30 were stretching, 10 were yawning, and the same 3 were flipping through their phones. So that's what operational definitions do. They give you the ability to specifically measure specific attributes or concrete attributes of a general concept. So a lot of information, I realize, but this is the area that most students struggle with. So I want you to do well. So take time to look through all the information available to you in this section, this video, the other video, the reading material. Make sure you understand operational definitions before you do your proposal. Good luck and God bless.